we will be talking about the Kingston CIPD program held by Kingston University and RANХiGS Academy in Moscow, and we will be talking to Carrie Hayton, chartered FCIPD and SHL Partner and a teacher of our module held here today in Moscow. So, good morning, Carrie.
Good morning.
Could you please tell us a little bit more about yourself, your career, and why you're teaching at Kingston University?
Absolutely, yes. So I'm an HR practitioner. I have a master's degree in HRM, HRD, and I'm a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Personnel and Development, and I have a partnership with SHL, who are the psychometric test organisation that many people will be aware of. I've been teaching at Kingston for many years now as a part-time lecturer, so I combine teaching with my practitioner role as a consultant.
Great. Could you tell us more about your previous practical experience? As far as I know, you worked for British Airways and other companies.
Yes, that's right. Yes, I started my career actually in the British Royal Navy doing recruitment, and that's where I learned a lot about how to run a series of selection methodologies, assessment centres and so on. And then I joined British Airways, where I spent 14 years as an HR manager working in selection, some recruitment, a number of learning and development projects. And I finished my career there as an internal consultant to a range of different departments in the organisation.
Very interesting experience, thank you. And what are your consulting projects at the moment?
Yes, at the moment I do tend to operate in the travel and tourism industry. My current project is with Delta Airlines in Atlanta in the USA, where I'm running a series of assessment programs to develop flight attendants into pursers. So my role has been to design the assessment centres and to manage the modulation of assessment to ensure that it's consistent across a whole number of groups. I also work in the financial sector, so I've recently been involved in a development centre for BNP Paribas in the City of London, a two-day event which was very interesting, helping to develop their talent pipeline. And I regularly work with Marsh, a large international risk management company. So a whole range of different organisations, which gives me exposure to a number of different sectors, which helps me to keep my practitioner skills current.
Great, very interesting idea. I think we have at Kingston here that we apply theory into practice.
Indeed.
So this is an example of how we do it, right?
Yes,
great.
Absolutely.
Okay, so now let's talk about the program itself. So could you please comment on the program, on the contents, and on the module resourcing and talent management that you're teaching for us today?
Absolutely. So the programme covers a broad range of very important elements that are key and topical at the moment for HR professionals, including things like engagement, talent management, leadership development. Obviously, with my background, I'm supporting my colleague Dr. Andy Nurse, who is an academic, and I'm teaching a number of elements on the resourcing side. So looking at how we attract talent into organisations, how we select talent, and how we develop that talent in order to achieve things like retention and reduce our turnover. So it's very topical. It's absolutely the sort of area that organisations are struggling with every day, and it's the sort of work that I do in my practitioner role, but also supported with a number of key academic themes which we introduce on the programme.
Okay, great. One of the topics that we study here is a management research report, and I know that you're supervising students as well. Could you please tell us a couple of words about this as well?
Yes, I think it's one of the most interesting areas of the programme because it gives the students the opportunity to develop their internal consultancy skills, because they take a problem that is either presenting or that they would like to explore in their own organisation. They diagnose it, they analyse it in light of current literature and thinking around that subject, and then they make a series of recommendations around how to improve or develop the area for their business. So it's a great way of them understanding consultancy, but also it's very useful in terms of developing their HR profile within their own business.
Okay, Carrie, could you please comment on the group, on the Russian students that you're teaching? So now you come to know them more, and so are they different from UK students? What are their profiles? Are they challenging you?
They're certainly challenging and great fun. It's a great privilege to work here in Moscow, and again for me it's an interesting area of development. What I notice particularly about the Russian students is that they tend to be more senior in their practitioner roles. So at Kingston in London we often have entry-level or junior-level management who want to know a broad range of areas, whereas here in Moscow I find that the students are often mid to senior management level, and they're exploring issues in greater depth. So my understanding is that they appear to really enjoy the mix of academic but also the opportunity to further explore current live issues in their own businesses. So they're certainly very challenging.
Okay, so what sort of discussions do you have in the class? Could you please comment on this?
Yes, certainly, very lively discussions, and what is so interesting is that many of the students have real experience that relate to the cases we work with. So one of our current cases is set in the banking sector, and we have a number of students who are in banking and are able to bring live examples and experience to help augment the case. So it's a very exciting experience teaching here.
Okay, great. So students are learning both from professors, from practitioners, and from each other.
Indeed.
Right. And so my last question would be, why do you think it is important for such senior HR people, experienced already in HR area, why is it important for them to study at this program? Why should they come to this program?
Well, that's a really good question, and I think a quote from a student is probably the best way to answer it. I met a student here recently who said that at the beginning of the program she thought that she was just here to gain the certificate. And now, at the end of the program, while she's doing her dissertation, she realises all the areas she didn't know anything about when she started, and it's really helped her to develop, to think about changing her job role, to recognise that she is now much more capable and knowledgeable so that she can really expand her career.
Okay, great. What do you think about the networking that people have here in the program? Is it useful for them?
Yes, I think it begins here in the classroom where people have the opportunity to meet one another, and of course it develops through their membership of the CIPD, which is recognised worldwide. It has a fabulous networking range of opportunities. There are consultancy groups, there are opportunities for interim roles. People in my position who are fellows are encouraged to mentor and coach new members, so there's a very extensive network available through that professional dimension as well.
Okay, thank you very much, Carrie, for talking to us.
You're most welcome.
Okay, and see you next time in Moscow.
We look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thank you.